35-31. High-scoring game, but Joe Burrow and company get the last drive, and they score a touchdown to win.
Ooh. Last drive, huh?
Yeah.
See, that's good drama. It always worries me every time.
Just don't show us on the screen no more.
No, no.
I knew you were going to do that.
There we go. Broncos and Bengals, the postseason dreams for them are on the line. Can Sean Payton and Bo Nix punch their ticket in year one? Can the Bengals keep hope alive? Kevin Harlan, Trent Green, and Melanie Collins are on the call from Cincinnati. We'll see you at halftime. Enjoy the game.
NFL Game Day Kickoff is presented by FanDuel. Make every moment more.
Good afternoon, everyone, from Cincinnati. 60 degrees with light wind and rain later tonight for the Denver Broncos and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Broncos have won 4 of their last 5 to put them in position to make the playoffs with a win today or a win next week against the Chiefs. A more dire situation for the Bengals, who after an 0-3 start have worked their way into the playoff conversation, but need to win today to stay alive and win next week and get some help. A lot of moving parts. Hi, everyone. Happy holidays. With Trent Green and Melanie Collins on our sideline, Kevin Harlan, it already feels, in this building at least, like a playoff atmosphere.
It does, Kevin. We just heard introductions of the Bengals, and this place was erupting. And as you said, this is a playoff game. The Broncos win, they're in. The Bengals need some help, but it starts with winning today.
All right, let's start with the Broncos and their rookie quarterback, Bo Nix. Trent, what are you seeing on tape from him?
Well, the thing I've seen is he is not hitting a rookie wall. His last 5 games, the Broncos are 4-1. They're averaging 33 points a game. He's doing a tremendous job of protecting the football. He said today they need to stay out of 3rd and long because that's when Cincinnati likes to dial up pressure. Speaking of the Bengals, a historic stretch for quarterback Joe Burrow, putting up MVP type of numbers, but the last 7 games in particular, over 250 yards passing in those 7 games, 3 touchdowns or more in all 7 of those games. And of course, he's leading on his wide receiver, Jamar Chase, as a big reason for that. 16 touchdown receptions on the season. He leads the NFL in receiving yards with over 1,500 already. He's been outstanding. Look for a great matchup with him today.
Our weather was thought to be a factor coming in, but as you can see, there's even a break in the clouds. Heavy rain later tonight, 60 degrees. Incredible weather in Ohio for this time of the year.
Kevin, we couldn't have asked for better weather. The players couldn't have asked for better. There was a lot of concern this week about rain. Both teams prepared to play in the rain because that's what the forecast was. But no rain, a little bit this morning, but no rain for the last few hours. Not expected to have any. So I don't think controlling the football for the quarterbacks will be a problem today.
If the Broncos win, they're in the playoffs. If Cincinnati wins, they can play for another week with hope, but they need help as well. Leading on a 2-yard touchdown pass, Burrow to Higgins to make it 7-3 at halftime. And downstairs to Melanie Collins.
Thank you, Kev. Coach, what a performance by your defense to close out the half. But I want to talk offense. After coming up empty in the red zone the first couple drives, you guys find the end zone before the half. What changed offensively?
Nothing. I mean, we feel like we're in really good rhythm. Just 2 4th downs. Didn't go our way. But we get the ball to start the half, so we got to build on this, create a 2-score lead. That's our goal coming out of halftime.
Coach, thank you.
Thank you.
Biggest game of the season, clearly for the Bengals. Win and stay alive. Cincinnati gets the ball back to start the second half. Now these halftime highlights from Lexus coming up.
The Bengals finally break through on their 3rd possession deep into Denver territory. They get it done. Burrow to Higgins, and the Bengals have a 7-3 lead at the break. What's up, everybody? Welcome inside our NFL Network studios. This is the Lexus halftime show. Bengals on top 7-3. I am Rhett Lewis, Super Bowl champion Michael Robinson down on the edge. Our great pleasure to introduce the freshly minted finalist for the Pro Football
Steve.
Hall of Fame class of 2025.
Steve.
Smith,
Appreciate it.
Senior. What's up?
AKA Pretty in Pink.
Pretty in
That's
pink.
right.
I love it, man. I love it, man. Congrats, big dog.
Appreciate it.
Seriously,
Thank you, man.
No doubt, man.
Steve, awesome, man. Happy for you.
siesta.
And
Same to you, too.
hey, glad we have your expertise here to shed some light on how the Bengals finally got it done. Turnover on downs on their first 2 possessions deep into Broncos territory. Finally get it done with T. Higgins at the end there.
It's a great job of getting T. Higgins the football. However, you can't leave points on the board because you start to get a little hungry hippo. It's still a holiday. So you start to get greedy and you're looking at yards instead of points. If you took the points, it would be 17 right now.
At least.
And if you're trying to make the playoffs, you need to go ahead and not risk it, no biscuit, but you just got to put points on the board because you open up a can of worms or Pandora's box if you do not take care of business, because I'm telling you, Cincinnati Bengals are the team that a lot of people are fearing because of Joe Burrow and new Triple Crown winner soon to be.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Jamar Chase,
Chase, actually, he's not chasing anything. It's more of sitting down, waiting for his chest to open because they didn't decide to pay him early.
They should have paid this man in the offseason.
So now he's going to knock you over the head with that bankroll.
Well, I will say this, the Denver defense and Vance Joseph and those guys showed up in situational football. Rhett, you talk about those 4th down stops.
Those were
they
huge.
had to show up, and it gave this team some confidence.
Yeah, Jamar Chase with a drop there on one of those drives that would have ended in a touchdown. We got the final 30 minutes of this game coming up here. I want to remind you that with NFL Plus Premium, you can stream live, local, and primetime games on mobile, plus NFL Network, NFL Red Zone, and more. You can sign up today at plus.nfl.com. Subscription required for NFL Plus Premium. And look, when your backs are against the wall and you gotta win to stay alive, sometimes you gotta pull out all the stops, like going up and over for Mike Gesicki. See if the LA Rams can stay on top of the NFC West as we preview Game 3 of our triple header next. All right, back here on the Lexus halftime. Cardinals and Rams from SoFi Stadium, the nightcap of our triple header here on NFL Network. Rams currently sitting in that 3 seed, leading the NFC West with the Seahawks staying in it. Let's get a preview here. Jamie Erdahl with Sean McVay.
Coach, your team has come on strong in the second half of this season. What characteristics in a game like today, prime time, big moment against a really desperate Cardinals team, do you want to see?
Yeah, I think just be totally and completely present. I think these guys have really handled all the different circumstances and situations really well. Want to see a mentally and physically tough team. It's got to be key for us to be excellent on both sides of the line of scrimmage, and that's what we're looking for.
When you have such a young team and big moments like this, what do you hone in on specifically with a youthful group, maybe some of your rookie defensive guys, to make sure that the moment isn't too big for them?
I think it's controlled aggression, and I think really you don't want to make it any bigger than what it is. Let's continue to play within ourselves. Let's enjoy the opportunity that these guys have earned, and let's go cut it loose and play with no fear of failure and go attack success.
Cardinals have had a lot of growth this season, but they're not making the playoffs. They could play spoiler to you, and they could take joy in that. How do you coach against that?
Well, I think we just got to play within ourselves. You know, this is an excellent team. They humbled us, you know, in week 2, and we got a ton of respect for them, and we got to be at our best tonight, and that's what you love about the NFL.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Jamie.
Okay, Michael Robinson, the Rams would certainly put themselves in a good spot. If they win tonight, how do they get it done against the Cardinals?
Well, first and foremost, lean on Kyren Williams, their running back. This kid has been awesome, has over 1,200 yards right now. If they can lean on him in the run game, play action passing becomes explosive with Matthew Stafford and those wideouts.
All right, looking for win number 10 on the season, would be their 5th in a row and would put them in a good spot to win that NFC West. All right, when we come back, Joe Burrow and the Bengals, Bo Nix and the Broncos, second half.
The Lexus Halftime Show is presented by the Lexus TX. Everyone's happy when it comes to taking a seat in the 3-row Lexus TX. Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer. Want to know who's dominating on defense? Just ask Siri. Who leads the league in tackles?
Well, I'm glad she's asking about defense because defense has been the theme in the first half here in an important game with playoff implications.
Well, it really has been. You think about Cincinnati, and they've been able to move the football, but Denver kept them out of the end zone the first 2 possessions with key 4th down stops. Of course, Cincinnati got the touchdown right before halftime. And then the other side of the ball, Broncos opening drive, 10 plays down the field, got the field goal. Since then, they've been shut out. Really effective defenses on both teams.
And here's a little taste of the Bengals defense tonight.
Well, as I said, that first possession, Denver put together a 10-play drive to go down and get the field goal, and since then they've been shut down. And you look at the number of plays, it's almost 2-to-1 number of plays for the Bengals offense compared to the Broncos offense. And there's Lou Anarumo right there, the Bengals defensive coordinator.
Hendricks can have a sack in the first half for the Bengals. 14th of the season for him. Going downstairs to Mel.
Well, Coach, Cincinnati dominated time of possession in that first half, so I know you only got to run 24 plays, but what's given Bo Nix and your offense so much trouble so far?
Well, look, we got to stay on schedule. It's some minus plays. The first drive was pretty good, but it did feel like we were on the sidelines quite a bit. So we got to take advantage of how well our defense is playing and have a little bit more balance. We had a penalty that killed one of our series. But we'll be ready for this half.
Coach, good luck.
Hey, thank you.
What a game by Joe Burrow. Over 400 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. 3 touchdowns on the day for T. Higgins.
Burrow, 3+ touchdown passes and 250 passing yards in each of his last 8 games. No quarterback in pro football history has done it. The Broncos will have to win next week to get in. The Bengals are alive. They need to win next week and get help. For a team that began 0-3 and 1-4, they have won their 4th consecutive game to stay alive.
Well, sitting at 4-8 4 weeks ago, there was no talk about playoffs. Now all of a sudden they've got on this run. They've got some momentum. They have arguably what would this be, 8 games in a row now that Joe Burrow has had over 250 yards and 3 or more touchdown passes. He set the NFL record last week for 7 times in a row with that stat. Now he's got 8 games in a row. Phenomenal performance by him, and Denver gets an opportunity against Kansas City next week, who we predict won't play many of their starters because they've locked up the #1 seed overall.
An incredible game with an incredible finish. And the Denver Broncos will have to go back to the Mile High City and beat the Chiefs next week. Bo Nix tonight, 219 through the air, 3 touchdowns and an interception. But the offensive arsenal of Cincinnati immense. For Trent Green, Melanie Collins, and Gene Steratore, Kevin Harlan saying goodnight from Cincinnati. Stay tuned for the Cardinals and Rams. But first, we'll take you to Game Day Kickoff presented by FanDuel after these messages.